What we're doing today is that we're going to go to the little details about IUL, something that we didn't have time to really look over, but it is very essential, and especially in relationship to our previous training last week, where we talk about the participating loan, and I thought it would be a good time to really go over some of the details that we haven't really talked about. Thing we have to I want people to know is that we have an Epi-Digm website, and from there you can select all this company, and you can get to know a little bit more about company. And there's no one company or one product that is good for everyone. So everybody's unique, and we have solution for everyone. All right. Very first today we're going to talk about is accelerated underwriting. This is an underwriting where you do not have to get a blood and urine from your client. Columbus Life, it is called accelerated underwriting. So if you look at this, it's called accelerated underwriting. And client parameters, if you look at it here, is available on each only on IUL, not on term, not on GUL, not on survivorship. It is only available on IUL, and it is only available from age 22 55. And face amount is 100,000 to 500,000. And everything's all available. And what else? And total line of coverage with the Columbus Life cannot exceed 500,000, which means if you have another life insurance with the Columbus Life, and you cannot have it when you combine more than $500,000. So this is only available with IUL with Columbus Life. And these are the typical information they gather. Instead of gathering your blood and urine, they get some database to know a little bit about you, like phone interview. There's going to be a phone interview, and they pull out MIB, Medical Information Bureaus, MVR, motor vehicle records, pharmacy history, prescription history, and criminal records. So this is how Columbus is doing. They gather your personal lifestyle information, and from there, instead of using medical information, they use this information to determine your mortality rates. And what's available? Clients be eligible for standard to super preferred. And rated client will not be eligible for acceleration. And another thing is that if clients, for some reason, if especially for immigrants, and if they just do not have enough lifestyle information, what Columbus will do is that they'll say, hey, your client does not qualify. He's not qualified for accelerated underwriting, so we will need a medical underwriting done. So they may say that we're going to have to do the blood and urine. Two most recent clients. First one will be National Life. Now, National Life is available for UL, not UL, IUL, and term insurance. And they are covering all the way to 1 million. And who qualifies? Age between 18 to 60 for applying for face amount up to 1 million. And applicant between 61 to 65 applying for up to $250,000. I believe there's goes up to 500,000 is no telephone interview. Well, what they done is that they actually got away with a telephone interview altogether. They they look at your information, they look at the database. I don't think they do the telephone interview unless it is necessary. But it covers all the way up to age 65. Up to age 60 is 1 million. 61 to 65 is 250,000 non-man. This is very aggressive. And the eligible class, once again, is a full eligible, elite all the way down to standard. Okay? All you need to do is fill out application, and most of the time, what you need to do is you fill out application, and we are so used to skipping medical questionnaire. Now it's a lot easier to use answer the medical questionnaire because they're going to do the they're not doing a medical exam. So you need to answer all the questions. Okay, for both Columbus Life and National Life or AIG, which I'm going to talk about later. So out of all the company that we have, National Life is the most aggressive because they do not only IUL, they also do terms as well. Now another one is for AIG. AIG is only available to QOL Max Accumulator. That's their flagship IUL, and the age is 0 to 50. So younger, and it is for up to $499,000 short of 500,000, and no blood, no urine, and up to Purple Plus is available. So this is what it is. Another thing that we talked about on Saturday is another company that Carrier was just talking, getting trained on is Emeritus. Emeritus is up to 300,000. I don't remember the issue age that it's covering. Up to 300,000 is non-med. It covers not the super prefer, but they give you prefer, but there is no telephone interview. So I guess the information they're pulling is a lot less than this Life Plus thing. So that's the medical underwriting side. So non-med is the historical performance. As you can see, this is from 1999 to 2018, going this way up, right? So if you look at it, we got capped and uncapped monthly averaging. I especially like this one, uncapped annual point to point with the spread because it is uncapped and they're a lot more aggressive in terms of their returns. If you look at it, it starts at 15 and it goes up to 0 and all the way up here. So their rate of return is really, really aggressive, and this is why I like Columbus Life for that matter. Now the Columbus Life has a competition because Emeritus, in terms of their historical performance, it's very, very aggressive. But I like this two performance, and when I write an application, what I normally do is I do 50% allocation to capped and 50% allocation to uncapped, and I don't normally do with uncapped monthly. But it is up to individual clients and agents, but that's my recommendation for my own client. And this will show you the annual average from 2014 to 2018. That's 5 years. If you look at it, its annual rate of return is 8.93% for capped, uncapped 7.51, uncapped monthly average is 8.73. So this is a little different. So if you look at it all the way from 1957 to 2018, what you will see is a 7.2% of annual return and 8.13% of annual return. And this one is 6.09%. And the highest, if you look at the highest return, was 12% because of cap is at 12%, but uncapped going all the way up to 51.63%. And the monthly averaging highest was at 39%. Now, you have to remember, this is not a true number. This is a historical backtesting. What they're doing is that IUL wasn't available back then, but what they're doing is that, what if IUL was existed at that time, and what if you apply the historical investment return from S&P 500? So it's a backtesting. It's not truly actual number, but close to it is a backdated historical data, right? So rate of return is really good. So what we wanted to do is we want to keep the rate of return with our cash value. But what happens if you take the money out from cash value? If you take the money out from the cash value, it's not only that you're taking money out, but you're taking away the potential growth. But if you're doing something that I'm about to tell you, you can actually have your cash value still experiencing that growth. That's that's next slide. It's called participating loans. And participating loan is this: if you have $100,000 on your cash value and you need $10,000, and you go ask your insurance company, I need a policy loan of $10,000. What insurance company will do is that they will not pull your $10,000 away from your cash value. They'll loan you their own $10,000, and they'll charge you interest. The interest they're going to charge is 5.5%. Now, the cash $10,000 that you still have on your index will grow with the index. So for the hypothetical situation, let's say your index did a 10% that year, you got 10% interest on your cash value, but on the loan, you got 5.5%, so you're netting actually positive 4.5%. It goes the other way around too. Let's say your index only did a 3%, now you're getting a growth of 3% versus you're getting charged of 5.5%. So you're actually losing 2.5%. But that's if your client is one that who's willing to take that risk, they'll do that. This is what they call participating loans. So your cash value is still participating with your index. So you get your experience with the cash value growth is still directly tied to your index crediting method. Now, if you look at this chart will show you. So if you have a 5.5% and but your interest rate on your index return was 0, now you're losing 5.5. Now, if you did a 3.25 index, now you're losing 2.25. But if your index did 6.5 and you're being charged of 5.5, you're actually netting 1%. Now, by law, by insurance law, insurance regulation, they cannot show you anything more than 1%. Yeah, on the illustration, but it does not necessarily mean that it will not happen. I mean, in reality, if your index did a 7%, you're netting 1.5. If your investment did a 9%, you're netting 3.5. All right. So next one is, what if the client says, but that's too risky. I don't want to. Whole reason why I done a index UL is I don't want any risk. I want everything black and white, and it's very simple. Then we have fixed loan option. Standard fixed loan option is this: interest charge is 2.5 for the first 10 years, and after 10 years, it'll go down to 2%. The actual contract calls out for 2.5 all the way. But it's a current practice. They do the 2.5 for first 10 years. It's starting on the 11th year, we call it preferred loans, and their interest rate they're currently charging is at 2%. And they kept this promise all along. It's never been broken. So you know that exactly how much interest they're charging on the loan. Now, this is a little different than participating loans. What happens is your cash value will be pulled out from your index crediting, and it's going to go into the loan reserve account of a life insurance and company, and they'll give you interest rate. The interest rate they're going to give is 2%, regardless of first 10 or after 10 years. So if you look at it, if you look at the current assumptions point of view, first 10 years, the interest they charge you on the loan is a 2.5. The interest they give you on loan reserve is 2. So you are actually paying only 0.5% loan interest, which is barely nothing. Now, if it is after 10 years, they'll charge you 2%, and you're still getting 2%, so you're netting 0. So it is watch loan. It becomes a watch loan. If it is a worst case scenario, if for some reason the insurance company cannot keep on doing what they're doing now, what they can maximally charge is only 2.5% interest. So they charge you 2.5 even after 10 years, and you only pay you get credit of 2%, so you still pay Worst case scenario is of 0.5%. Some people like this because it is a lot easier and it is everything's all guaranteed, right? Less risky. But the thing is, if clients are more prone to investment growth, and if they're like the idea of being your own banker and your money become growing, even when you take the money out, people go with the participating loans. They actually got the remaining death benefit. And very first thing that we want to talk about is that when the living benefit is paid and there's still outstanding death benefit, or even in the case where the client never took out the living benefit and the client passed away. Now, what you will see is the point of death, the date of death versus date that Columbus Life or any insurance company cut out a check, there's going to be a gap, right? So what Columbus is doing is that in this particular case, they gave interest of $118.27 on the remaining death benefit because the Columbus Life, in some sense, was holding on to client's money because client was, well, I shouldn't say client, the beneficiary was entitled to death benefit proceed, but they didn't get it right away. So for how long they have been holding on to that money, they're actually giving interest every day. So by the time they cut out a check, they calculate the interest came out to be $118. So what they done is that they issue a check and added $118 to the total. Now keep that in mind that $118 is a taxable. That's when if it proceed, it's not income taxable, but the interest is taxable. Now let's look at the other one. The other one is this is a very very interesting point. Remember she's got 114,700 something, right? So what they're looking at is that hey, probably that $300 was interest once again. So she got that 114,000 because she had a triggering event, right? And then that happened on the June 27 of 2017. So what Columbus did was that June 27, 2017, they charged interest of 4,024. What is a 4,024? That's a partial interest on that 114,000 because the policy date of this policy is 18th of November. So from June to November, they charge that partial interest of 4,024. So what it is about 5 months of interest for annual rate of 8%. So it's about approximately little shy of about 4%. The amount that is accelerated. Now, because the interest was never paid back, what happened is that now your remaining lien for your death benefit is 118. Now, what happened on this is says 2015, that should be 2017. There's a typo, right? On the November of 2017, there's another interest rate of 9,478. If you look at that and do the calculation, that's about 8% of 118,000. So your lien for your remaining death benefit is 127. So what it means is if she died at that point, she had a original death benefit of $200,000. There's an acceleration of 114 plus interest. Now the beneficiary will receive at that point 200,000, 127,000. Now she still was living for another year. So another year on not June, November 18 of 2018, there's another interest of $10,000. That's 8% of now 127,000. So which now becomes 138,000. And on April 17, April 7, 2019, there was she passed away. So what the Columbus is this. From November 18 of 2018, they charged this $10,236 to cover interest from November of 2018 to November of 2019. But the client died on in April, so they need to give it back the interest that they have charged for April to November, which is about what, 6 months, 5, 6 months. So if you see this $4,000 was credited back to the outstanding lien because they need to give back the interest that they charged because the client died earlier. Now your debt remaining lien is $133,000. So out of 200,000, the outstanding lien of the living benefit is 133. So client's family is expected, or actually they got about $67,000. That's how you calculate death benefit. Other way of doing it is if you don't like lien method, there's a discounted method. Discounted method is even worse in my opinion, but some people like it, but I don't like it. Discounted method, what they do is at the time of the triggering, let's say the client says, I want to take out of $200,000, I want to pay $150,000. Then what insurance company will do is they'll deduct $150,000 from $200,000. So remaining death benefit is $50,000, and it is not changing. But what they're going to do is that instead of giving $150,000 to the client, they'll do something called actuary underwriting, and they'll think of a life expectancy of the client, and they'll pre-charge the interest. Let's say the interest they calculate come out to be $50,000. So the client will be getting, instead of 150, the client will be getting $100,000. But death benefit is reduced by 150. That's called discounted method. I like the lead method better. Okay. So this explains about how you get the how their living benefit is calculated. I mean, not the living benefit is calculated when person die with the outstanding loan because of the living benefit is paid from their death benefit, and this is how the interest is being charged against your remaining death benefit. Okay. Uh, Everybody's unique and everybody's different. So what we need is we need a cater to each individual client, and that's why we have all these companies and all these different products. As of right now, Ameritas seems to be a very, very good fit where the Columbus doesn't fit in. So far in terms of IUL with the living benefit, we have a Columbus Life, we have an ENICO, we have a National Life, and we have AIG. Now we're putting up one more of Emeritus. And Emeritus also has whole life with a living benefit. They also have term insurance with a living benefit, and we get to learn a little bit more about DI, disability income insurance as well. Okay. United Healthcare. United Healthcare. I mean, you can do it on mouse. It's just it is very hard to do it. I mean, it's the same thing. Okay. Yeah, Allianz is doing that. But the thing is, I think it'll be a lot easier if you bring your touchscreen laptop and get the client, and the client sign it with finger. Right? So that pretty much wraps up. I just went over really, really quick. On your meeting, you can actually go to FLX website, and you can actually look at their, listen to their website, and then go from there also.